Hunter went into Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Anyway, what's up, guys? This is the new DND segment of OND.
Oh, hey, we're not just going to talk about our campaigns. We're going to talk about other stuff that's going to help you D&D.
We help you D&D. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the OND D&D segment here. Today, we are talking about how to keep your campaign fresh.
Like Subway.
Like Subway. Well, I was gonna say, Joey, what does that question mean? First of all,
You know, you play your campaigns for 100+ sessions. Sometimes people are playing these shits for 10 years. How do you keep that interesting? You know, it's very much like being in a relationship. How do you keep things spiced up in the bedroom?
In the
it's just around your
paper bedroom.
around your D&D table. How do you keep that graph paper sex exciting?
Bleep. First thing, new areas.
Yeah, new places to play.
I think like
Spicy.
especially as you go up the level tree and like the story evolves, feel like if you want to have a long spanning campaign, you have to have multiple areas with multiple bosses and like multiple potential like long stories or like partial things that your characters can interact with and be there for a while, have an arc, end that arc, and then go on to the next thing. And I feel like new areas that seem bigger than the last or seem like different in a weird, wacky way brings new breath whenever you get to that point where you're like, oh, why are we here again?
Oh.
And then when you get to that new place, you're like, oh, wow, this is bigger and better. That all of this intrigue is happening now, blah, 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 blah. You get that new breath when you first entered the campaign of like, there's so much shit in front of me right now.
So are you saying that you feel like level creep is an issue in games you play?
I feel like a lot of DMs have an issue with level creep and keeping games interesting past level 10.
It's just like animes, the power creep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, animes usually have multi-steered like villains and stuff to keep it interesting after they get like, what you're saying, power creep.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, the character feels overpowered now, and what is there left for this character to explore in his story? And then they find new things to explore in their story by going to the next thing. And then sometime you tie all that stuff in. As a DM on the back end, you're like, okay, what arcs here made sense for this final arc? And was there any connections? And could there have been any connections? Did I leave any connections? And then you finish out the whole thing by like, this is the end boss, and like, however you want to connect it to whatever in the rest of the campaign. You can have it completely disconnected, or you can have it tied to some of the other bosses you throw in for arcs along the way. But I feel like that's a good way to keep it fresh. It's just when it starts to get stale in an area, like open up a quest line, like throw a quest at your players that might bring them to a brand new area, or have an invasion. Classic flips things up. Enemies win some amount of victories so that, like, you know, I mean, a classic example is Critical Role's Chroma Conclave. Like, they were getting higher level and the whole world flipped on the head. A whole new way of playing the game they had to play, where they had to sneak around, they had to try to find these artifacts, they had to figure out how to take care of each one of these bosses to complete the arc. You know, like, they couldn't just go. They knew where the end boss was. They couldn't just go fight the end boss. They had to like make a plan, figure it out.
Sure.
Do you guys think that it's too much carrot, stick, reward, carrot, stick, reward, carrot, stick, reward?
D&D players love number go up.
You love number
No,
go
I think,
up.
well, I mean, most people like when you play a game and your number goes up, whether the number
Video
be...
game. Yeah.
Did you know
I'm
that
not
video games are based on tabletop role-playing games?
What?
The carrot, it's not just like, it's just the dopamine of like, oh, we succeed on this thing and now there's this harder thing that I have to come up with. That's like the number go up. It's just like, okay, now I have to get better and like have a new plan to do this new thing.
What do you mean by carrot, stick, reward?
It's a constant cycle is what he's saying. It's like, we do like carrot, and like once you have that, oh, there's another carrot. Like, what makes it so the carrot doesn't get less interesting, you know?
Put a carrot on a stick to lead a horse.
And eventually you get desensitized to the carrot.
Right. You get the carrot. Like, you get to the end of where you're going, you give the horse the carrot. and then you need to
So,
go to another place.
Can
carrot
you
stick,
relate
reward.
that to D&D for me? And what you mean exactly?
Here's a quest.
Mhm.
Characters complete the quest, they get a reward. Here's a quest. Characters complete the quest, they get a reward, and that's the cycle of D&D.
I think just establishing stakes is important. Like, why does my character care about this arc? And if your character doesn't care about that arc, why did they interact with this arc in the begin with? And like, they can leave that arc, find a different arc. But I feel like it's the DM's job to know people's characters and know what, like, just the core character, what would they stand up for? What would they want to explore in a new arc? And if there's nothing, and none of the players have anything that they want to explore or like do, then that's the end of the campaign, folks. If no quest jumps out of them, if you're like throwing quests at them and they're like still having a bad time, then you're like, okay, you just don't like. Are we ending this campaign?
Sounds like Joey wants to end our campaign.
I don't think that's what he
Too
said.
much carrot for him, and he keeps getting quests.
What are you talking about?
He didn't get the metaphor, Joey.
Oh
It's
my
okay.
Huh. What do you have more?
I mean, you're the DM. You have to keep things spiced up all the time. I figured you would have some input on this.
Sometimes I take a noodle and I
Sits
throw
down,
it at a board.
Sits down at the table, head empty. He's like, I don't keep.
I keep it fresh by
What are my
everything we
players
do
gonna
being
do
new.
today? I hope somebody says something because I don't have anything prepared.
Oh yeah, every time I sit down, everything's new to me because I forget what happened last.
I'll be like,
That's how I keep it fresh.
you guys left the bar. What are you doing? Is there a melon cart? Oh, thank God.
Oh God. How do I keep campaigns fresh? Start new ones.
You did do that to us once.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starfinder?
You started the coronavirus, so we would be in our homes.
Oh.
So that we had to play a new campaign.
Yeah, I did that. It's all my fault. All right,
I haven't
all right.
seen
let's-
the coronavirus and Hunter in the same room. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you have on the way back from Florida. How do I keep our campaigns fresh? Well, I will say, I think one thing I try to do is make it so you guys don't fight the same thing too many times. I very much try to make it so every encounter or fight, essentially, is a different type of creature. At least I try to. Of course, now if we talk about getting up into higher levels, like Carter was talking about, it gets more difficult because there's not that many high level things, whereas there is a lot of different low level things. Like let's take current campaigns for example.
Mm-hmm. Let's take them.
Let's take them and throw them. With our online campaign, the very first combat was crabs and stuff, and it's like, all right, we did that. Right after
Those
that's
poor crabs.
those poor crabs. Then there was the rats.
Those poor rats.
Yep.
Actually,
These people
fuck
aren't
them.
adventurers. They don't even want to.
Fuck them. And then
Diseased ass little rabies sacks.
you. After the rats, we had some thieves from the Salt Daggers. Now that's a tough one though. It's tough to keep that fresh because the whole
There's always
organization.
bandits and
Yeah,
but
there's
they
always
have
bandits
more
and
character.
thugs.
Like the
Right,
villains
because
of
we
those,
can-
the main villains of those can have different like goals and different like things they're trying to do.
Mhm,
Like,
and then after that, you guys went into the woods. You fought.
all
you
I'm
know-
saying is there's a reason you watch like 10 seasons of a procedural crime drama. That's all I'm saying. Like they make it different each time. Like,
So- They do, and they don't. Like the first couple seasons of
there's a
procedure.
formula.
I do love procedurals, but yes, there's a formula. It's every episode is technically a new story, but sometimes this one was about a child being abducted and no one saw it. This one is a child got abducted, but everyone saw it. This one is about this
But there's a
guy.
new
You guys
puzzle.
really obsessed with
Right.
child abduction today.
When else did I say child abduction?
You just used that.
Oh, I
example
used it twice just now.
Yeah.
I'm for a specific
Could have
example.
been like this meth dealer got bad meth, and this
As
meth
long as
dealer
like
didn't get
the
bad
puzzle
meth.
Right,
is different,
exactly.
I feel like the setting of the puzzle matters less.
Right. So, yes. Okay. I think that, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's the whole idea to keep it fresh is I don't ever want you guys to, I don't want you to, I mean, sometimes I do because that's important because it shows like growth and stuff, but I try to keep them as far apart as possible. But you faced crabs before. I probably won't throw crabs at you again for a long time until it's like you come across them again. How do you deal with them this time? Specifically to be fresh, like I don't want the campaign to be, you guys went out, you fought goblins. Woo! We went out again, we fought goblins. Woo! We went out again, fought goblins. Woo! Like
We're stuck in this town, drearily talking to people that I don't want to talk to.
he says he doesn't
People
want to talk to
butting into
anybody.
my fucking business when we're on a fucking mission right now.
Wow. All right, no one knows you're on a mission
I know. I'm
other
on a
than the
mission.
guard.
I'm doing my business.
He's doing his
People
business.
getting in my
You
business.
know what Carter hates?
So
and I've noticed.
what?
So as we've continued to play longer and longer, and our groups have formed solidarity and become more comfortable with each other, we've started just off the cuff role playing all the time
Mm-hmm. That happens a lot.
and not doing anything.
That's why I get a little upset.
I love it.
I get a little upset because like we're here dedicating our time. I do love role playing, but like also we need to progress in the game.
That's a more interesting story to some of us. It's fresher.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to
for
just
me
do a
talking
quick-
to-
I just don't want to put the stick in the carrot and the reward. I want to, go over here and have a deep drama with.
He wants to follow
Right,
the
but there's
banana
other
sign.
players,
Ricardo.
and also we have 2.5 hours to play the stream online game. So I'm just saying,
Just makes the
that,
game
like
longer.
I've loved how open we've been in this game. I think everybody's been doing a better job than we have ever in the past with role playing at all. And I'm not saying I don't like it.
Mhm.
That's not what I was saying. I just think we've been
Sounds like it's
we haven't been pushing the narrative along as much.
The narrative's Tempest Fair. We're trying to get through it. Now we're off track.
Are we?
Yeah.
We're on track. This is the narrative. Is someone is trying to take down the Tempest Fair, and
No,
we're
I
trying to
think their
figure out who
plans
it
got
is.
foiled. They got another elemental in their workshop. I don't think so.
I
We're supposed to get to dinner and finish the Tempest Fair and then investigate after.
there's gonna be something happening at the dinner.
See, and then I love that there's always one character that's like, there's always trouble behind the next corner. Then there's a character like, no, we took care of the trouble. There's nothing ahead of us.
2 of us had nightmares, or 3 of us had dreams last night that it had something to do with last night's events.
Did it?
And that's the thing that pisses me off is people playing stupid even though they know what's happening in character. That like there's no reason your character doesn't know this. What's happening?
Got
Is it
scared for a
breaking?
second. No. It minimized. I don't know. It was
You
weird.
hear that, David? You hear that, May? You're stupid.
No, I
And
just
the way
like
you play the game is stupid.
no, I just like in character. Your character knows that this is happening, and why are you it peeved me off when people were talking over me when I was just trying to play I'm trying to say something and everybody's jumping on my dick and not letting me finish my fucking sentence anytime.
Everybody's just jumping on Keith. I don't think he said you're stupid. I don't think he said that at all. So, in conclusion,
Yeah, did we answer the question?
how do you keep your campaign fresh? So, like I just said, not repeating combats or encounters, I think is a big thing for me, and how I try to keep you guys fresh and keeping you interested. But another thing that I like doing and that I think keeps a campaign fresh is constantly throwing in, not constantly, that seems wrong. Occasionally throwing in red herrings or specific little intrigues that makes people focus on something while you can do what you need to do on the off side while they're messing around with this. Things like
Nightmares.
nightmares. Things like nightmares. Things like, oh, wait a minute. what do you mean that person didn't remember my name? Or wait a minute, their name's almost the same. Or why is that guy looking at us? Just stuff like that. Or like I think that keeps it fresh because I'm now affecting the player and they have no way of knowing why until they investigate it. I think that keeps it fresh sometimes, is throwing in some things that
Once you get
basically
them
grabbing
so
their
confused
attention.
that they don't know what's going on. That just, fuck off and ask about melon carts.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. When was the last time you guys got a melon cart?
That's just my example.
Oh,
That's how I started the conversation.
it was. You did. But I think in the end, the real way to keep your campaign fresh is communication. Always talking to your players. Always asking them how they're feeling, how they're doing, checking in with everybody, because you don't want to keep playing and there be something that builds up and up and up and up until they eventually just want to stop playing, say they can't make it, or whatever. So I think really the number one way of keeping your campaign fresh is communication. That's what I would say.
Yay.
Why is that answer gay?
He's going to use that every week. Every time we do one of these questions, he's going to say, communication is the reason.
It'll be my thing. It'll be I'll give all a bunch of answers, and then my last answer will always be, but you know what's always the most important? Communication. Well, thank you all for joining us for this D&D segment of OND. Make sure to... Huh?
OND, D&D.
OND, D&D. Where these three idiots give their dumb opinions on how to play TTRPGs.
Or not.
Or not.
Sometimes it won't be that, I'm sure.
Sometimes
We'll
not.
just
Who
mail
knows?
it in and be like, this week we talked about melon carts.
Exactly. We'll do that too.
Hey there, dipshits. It's me, Joey, a.k.a. Slooty Mage.
I'm Hunter, voice of Hunter Taylor.
And I'm Carter, Eagle Eagle. We're
Older and dumber.
Every Friday, we drop wisdom, humor, and a whole lot of nonsense. You won't want to miss it.
Become a patron today for as low as $5 a month. Get early access to all our episodes and exclusive behind-the-scenes looks at all the things we're doing and May's super secret editing notes.
Shout out to our awesome dipshits. Your support really helps keep this madness going.
Join the crew. Be a dipshit. It's an exclusive club, and you're invited.
So dipshits, mark your calendar every Friday for a dose of older and dumber craziness. See you there.
Fade to black. On my stand. Fade to black.